Hello, hello, hello. I'm Roy Michaels. Welcome to the Mystery Hour, the first, only, and number one late-night paranormal talk show right here on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. If this is your first time tuning into the program, you may be confused or even lost. Good. That's exactly the point. I'll fill you in. Instead of gallivanting around Orono, we here at the Mystery Hour spend our Friday evening sitting here in the bowels of the University of Maine, where each week at 11 p.m. we attempt to unravel the most mysterious secrets of our cosmos and delve into the darkest corners of the human imagination. Tonight is no exception. I'm joined in the studio by several of my co-hosts, whom at one time were my best friends, but now, thanks to this project, and are just a bunch of people I have to see every week. They're self-proclaimed paranormal journalist Joseph, Mystery Hour IT guy, and my number one, my Riker, my Connor. We have our wild man, Robbie. Also, here's a real treat for you. We have Dan Man. And of course, our historian-in-chief, Evan Lane, but just wait. Next to me in Studio A, we have the creative lead for this episode, the man, the myth, the Chief Keith. Now, the Mystery Hour is a highly collaborative project. It is a democratic entity sometimes, and each week we get together and pick a topic for the next show. But every now and then, one of us may be so passionate about a topic that we let them lead an entire episode. That is exactly the case tonight. Keith here has a topic for us that is kept as a closely guarded secret, a mystery within the Mystery Hour, if you will. So Keith, what will we be talking about tonight? What will we be broadcasting to an audience that falls within a 55-mile wide radius from Orono that includes many of our friends and our family? Keith, what are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about human experimentation, Mike. Roy. Very nice music. All right, I'll get down to business.
Human experimentation?
Human experimentation.
Oh.
So, throughout human history, the field of science has been plagued with an unsightly blemish. As you all know, progress is the key to further development, and oftentimes, the truly dedicated find themselves starved of a resource they find integral to progress. Some view these obstacles as a small price to be paid for the knowledge rewarded, and accept their scraps with pride, making absolutely certain to cross every I, cross every T, and dot every I. Others, however, obtain a thirst for this reward that cannot be sated by traditional means, and morally blinded by the gleaming light at the end of the tunnel, seek a cure for their resource starvation in ways that will forever tarnish the reputation of the experimentally curious. Tonight, we delve into the true horrors of medical science, recounting many particularly grisly encounters between the downtrodden and the morally reprehensible. While it is important to view these cases through a time-shifted lens to gauge how truly unacceptable they were, it is also important to understand just how little time 50 years can be when contrasting the current standards of our scientific progress. So at first, I'd like to bring up the Holmesburg program, if you're all right with that.
Yeah,
that'll be our
for it.
first topic. So, are you familiar with Johnson & Johnson?
The baby product?
Yeah,
company?
exactly.
Yeah, I always keep a container of that. Might proceed.
It doesn't hurt your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep them wide open. Anyway, so in the 1950s or so, roughly from 1950 to 1970, the Dow Chemical Company, the U.S. Army, and our shampoo-dealing friends at Johnson & Johnson took advantage of one particularly ripe Pennsylvania prison in the town of Holmesburg. With high stakes in dermatological progress, these companies reached out to Dr. Albert Kilgman, offering the hefty 1950s sum of up to $10,000 per experiment to inject the so-called endless sea of prisoners with dioxin, an incredibly toxic chemical known primarily for its inclusion in the infamous Agent Orange.
Ooh.
Driven primarily by concern for the longevity of their own brand, Dow Chemical Company had these experiments performed in an attempt to determine why the workers at their chemical plants were frequently developing serious cases of chloracne, a nasty name for what can only be described as superacne, caused by the halogenated compounds emitted from Agent Orange. The result of Dr. Kligman's initial dioxin injection was, unsurprisingly, a whole bunch of chloracne, relatively similar to that of the factory workers. In this test, Dr. Kligman had carefully administered an amount of dioxin meant to replicate the factory conditions, and pretty successfully gave a massive group of prisoners a grotesque amount of facial acne. In a follow-up experiment on a considerably smaller sample of 10 prisoners, Kligman upped the dosage by up to 500 times, accelerating the inflamed blemishes to full-blown pustules. These prisoners were not assigned to this procedure by chance, nor were they held here against their will. Instead, they were promised a nominal stipend for their efforts, and the result was up to 90% of the prison's population being used to test different products. So based on this, I've got some questions for you all. These are obviously some pretty strange things to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
My first one would be, I tried to find out how much they got paid. The first thought is obviously, how much is it going to take to make you do this? So I ask you all, how much would you need to be paid to be injected with dioxin?
Yes, Rob?
Rob?
Oh, were you just pointing at the microphone?
Rob, just give us a
I will
value.
just say, for me, about $50
$50 per injection.
per injection. Yeah. Well, do I get, like, Johnson & Johnson, obviously they have connections within the beauty product industry,
Oh, yeah.
right?
They're a big deal.
So, my biggest concern would be the chloracne.
Yeah.
But like I said in my intro, I am spending my Friday night here in the basement
Yeah,
of
you'll
the
fit right
University of
in.
Maine. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But could Johnson & Johnson, if they're still part of this insidious project, perhaps hook me up with some Proactive? Because that would definitely influence how much money it would cost.
I think you have to buy the Proactive with your stipend. So it's like a tax almost.
Okay, so I would do it for the price of my school books for the semester, which happens to be $15,000.33.
Or if you bring them back, $25.
Yeah, or yeah. Good point.
How about you guys? Do you have any different? What would it take?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
All right, super acne versus proactive. Who wins?
Oh, it's like a battle of the giants.
I guess it depends on how much Proactive you use.
I do think they have a strain of Proactive known as Ultra Active that is designed specifically for that purpose.
But what about mega acne?
Wait, is Mega Acne more than Super Acne?
I think so.
Is that what we're deciding here?
I think I think it goes super ultra mega.
How many injections does it take to get mega acne?
500 times the normal amount.
Oh,
That's
well,
what it says.
that's a lot of dosh.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Yeah,
dosh.
with that kind of money, you could develop Ultra Proactive.
You asked how much we would have to be paid per injection. How
Yeah.
bad is one injection?
It's not that bad. I mean, you just your cheeks will never be the same.
Never the same.
Never.
I think that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not worth $50.
I've got some pretty prime cheeks.
Yeah, they're looking nice.
Yeah, I mean $1 million maybe.
For an
Okay.
injection?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Roy?
Could I
Wow.
just do a quick shout out? You mentioned Agent Orange.
Yeah.
I just want to do a quick shout out for the surf rock band, Agent Orange. So, Agent Orange, if you're out there,
Come on the
surf's up. No, but really, listen to their cover of Miserable. It's great.
Right now?
No,
Probably listen to the show.
you're
and
you're
then
doing
listen to that.
things.
I'm not really doing much.
show. All right, so I guess let's change the question a little bit. If you didn't know what you were being injected with, how much would it cost you to be injected with it? So let's pretend you didn't actually know anything I've just said, and I had a syringe full of goo, and I said, Roy, this can be yours. How many dollars? And I give you a blank check.
Do you know that it's not going to kill you?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I'd probably a lot of money then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
10 million.
No
I-
amount of money.
I don't say you're gonna die from this. You're supposed to think I'm not gonna kill you with it because I'm professional.
But if you kill me, then you don't have to pay me.
How can I tell you're professional too? Do you have like a
Ooh.
name tag or?
Yeah, what
It's
do
a
you wear?
lab coat.
It's a
Lab
lab
coat,
coat.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
and a
definitely.
lab coat means the entire world.
It does.
I mean, can I just touch upon the Milgram experiment for a moment?
Yeah.
So, any of you out there who are students and maybe taking Soc 101, listen up, take some notes. The Milgram experiment, you will definitely touch upon it. It was used to sort of figure out why people like Nazis in death camps followed the orders of their superiors to commit horrific acts. And the experiment Evan, do you know much about this one?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I
Okay.
didn't realize it was called the Milgram experiment.
You looked very sure of yourself, so just double checking.
He always does.
Okay,
As soon
but-
as the word Nazi came up, that grin just creeped over your face.
So
It's not even true.
Why is that?
He didn't smile.
basically, there's one guy, let's say it's me, Roy Michaels, at a board that has the power to deliver an electric shock to Keith on the other side of the room. But Keith actually isn't like a guy like me. He's an actor. He's a part of the experiment. So the buttons I hit don't actually shock Keith. They just make Keith act like he's being shocked, much like this.
Oh, am I being the button or am I the shock?
You're shocked.
No, they
got
had
shocked.
a completely different guy be the button sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was underneath the table. But anyway,
Turn.
each time like you hit a button, it was a more severe level of shock, right? So eventually Keith over here is just going to be freaking out. He's going to be screaming. He's going to be crying. He's going to be winning some Oscars. He's going to be doing a great job.
Is this Price is Right?
Oh, Oscars.
Oh,
Yeah. Academy Awards.
okay.
Anyway, you'll be doing that, and I will obviously might have some guilt unless I'm a psychopath.
So
And I'll want to stop, but the guy in the lab coat standing behind me will be watching me, and he'll be judging me. He's
Keep
my
going.
superior. Yeah, he'll be like,
Keep
"Come
going,
on,
Roy.
Come on. Hit him with the 10 volts.
Yeah, press the next button.
And more often than not, the designers of the experiment found that when the guy with the coat was in the room, the people delivering the voltage were able to go much further. And often they would go to the very end when told that they would not be held accountable for their actions. A little creepy, human experimentation.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can convince someone to do with a little bit of authority.
So if a guy with a lab coat came up to me and said he would inject me with something that wouldn't kill me and he would pay me an undisclosed amount of money, I might do it.
It's a lot of money.
You know, I'm a college student.
Yeah.
I've got bills to pay.
It's a lot of books.
Yep. Time to experiment with.
How did I find out about this opportunity, if you will?
How did you find out about it? So are you asking how I would approach you if I was lab coat guy?
Yeah.
Craigslist.
No,
Yes.
absolutely not. I would not do that.
I say professional medical a guy, and then it's a picture of me in the lab coat, and I've got the big syringe loaded up, right? And it's got $1 million on the side of the syringe. Do
so
you buy it?
it's like one of those big checks.
Oh
they
yeah,
print at the-
exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, it
But
comes
I
with
don't
a big
inject
check?
you with that. It's an actual small one that I keep in my pocket. This is just to like bring in the front of the shop, you know.
Yeah, actually, I don't want to.
I like the big checks because even though I know it's not true, when I see it, I feel like it's worth more money than the smaller version.
It's bigger.
Exactly.
Wait, are you telling me that you don't get? Are you telling me that when I'm making the big bucks someday, once I get my paranormal books published, I won't be getting big checks?
No, you definitely do. When I wrote the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch-Sasquatch dichotomy, they gave me a huge check in the back of a truck.
So the size of the check does scale with the amount of money inside.
Yeah, actually, Bill Gates lives inside a giant check right now.
How expensive do you think those are? Those big checks?
$250.
You know? Is that how expensive?
No, I just said it very
What are
confidently.
they
Yeah,
made
that
of,
can't
like
be that.
cardboard?
Just right, but they got to be certified.
No, they're not going to be certified.
Who
They're not real.
certifies
Yeah,
these?
they're not real. I think they give you a smaller real check.
Yeah, exactly. You can't bring that to the bank and say, "Oh, I'm going to use that to get this money now."
Maybe not at
You
your
can't-
bank.
You can't pay rent with it. Or-
Can you imagine paying rent with
Here you go,
a
Brent.
check that size?
Yeah, just to be clear, I didn't really get a big check from publishing my book.
It was $45 on a large check.
yeah, so
Yeah.
a small check on a big one.
Would you accept less money for a bigger check?
Yeah, for sure.
How much less?
5%.
Yeah,
5% less.
50%.
than
Oh
a
yeah,
giant check.
definitely.
Make it 50%. I'm done.
Honestly, if you drive, like if you're taking that check to the bank and you drive off a bridge into the river, you can, raft out of your vehicle with that check.
Yeah,
Huh.
and it saved your
mean,
life. And
yeah.
How much is that check really worth now?
Yeah, it's a PFD.
It's pronounced.
No, it's not.
Could you hold it straight up and like paraglide with it, do you suppose? Like, could it
Oh.
save you in that situation?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you could turn into a big paper airplane.
Like, let's say there's a guy in a lab coat with a needle coming at you, and you have a big check. You can just run and jump off a cliff.
Well, he's not
Right
coming
away.
at you. He's on
Right away.
Craigslist.
But I think the reason Cheeks and I like this idea so much is because
That's Mr. Cheeks to you.
it's because
Daddy cheeks.
it look whatever all the
Papa.
stuff that you're doing, it looks cool because you're doing it with the check in your hands.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
That's
what
it's-
about?
That's why they're fun.
But what about human experimentation?
All right.
All right, to get back
okay.
to that.
We're gonna wrap around. Craigslist guy's out of the question. Okay. Pretend you didn't know him.
Wait, hold on. So we just kind of did like a giant boomerang turn.
Yeah.
But imagine if the boomerang was a huge oscillating
Oh
check.
my god.
That would be
Wow.
amazing.
How much?
Someone took a big check and just bent it.
Yeah.
Speaking of trusting authority figures more, if you want to break into someplace, don't do this. We're not allowed to tell you to do this. Don't do it. But if you want to, just carry a clipboard and look at it, or
Yeah,
you
you
know, carry
look-
a package.
You look like you know what you're doing.
exactly.
This
Wear
is,
like a suit.
I
Robbie?
No, you,
me now.
no, yeah.
I have this just in from a reporter in the field. Earl Neal Nerf.
The inventor of the Nerf gun.
Says the
All right, Keith.
says the people pressing the buttons were told that they were not hurting the people who were screaming.
Oh.
In some cases,
Oh, so did I just lose credibility?
You butchered that
You
story.
boomeranged us back so
Oh,
hard
man.
and cut your credibility's head off. Okay, so get
With a
this.
check.
it's just a hot tip.
It is a hot tip, but here's a hotter tip. I don't actually have a follow-up for that, honestly. This isn't that interesting. On a
Okay.
scale of 1 to 10, how hard do you object to this case here? This is going to be like a recurring theme. We're going to talk about like how we feel about the like the moral standards.
0.
From Craigslist, if I saw this advertisement, if that's still what we're talking about at this
Yeah,
point,
let's do Craigslist first, then the actual prison.
I would absolutely not follow through with that opportunity. But maybe if I saw it on a flyer within the halls of a building here at the psych department or the chemistry department, I may be more inclined to actually go and check out what the experiment involves and maybe get involved. Especially, there's some sweet monetary gain at the end waiting for me.
Okay, so I guess let's rephrase this.
Context is everything.
Yeah. Okay, so you're walking through the union, and then you look at one of these glorious boards here, and there's a little paper that says "Human experiment wanted," or I guess "Human subject wanted" for experimentation, and then it just shows $3 signs, and that's all you know about the money. Do you inquire within?
Yes, because I would associate the $3 signs with 3 people, and that reminds me of a very famous human experiment that was depicted on film involving 3 people, known as the human centipede.
Yeah.
But I can't really get into that.
I love those dogs. He loved those dogs.
We all love the dogs. I've got one question for you, Keith.
Yeah.
Where is he sticking me with a needle? Because I feel like that is important to me.
It's directly into your cheeks, your
Oh, okay.
soft cheeks.
So it's not like in between my toes or something
Nope.
like that. Okay.
I've got another question for everyone here. How much more advanced do you think we'd be if we could do any kind of experiment without moral limitations?
Extremely advanced,
Definitely. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. No.
especially in the neural department.
I
The
think
neural department. Tell me more.
I just think if we could explore untethered in the neural department,
Oh.
we could maybe have like telepathy at this point.
Makes sense. Dan, do you want to add to that?
I think it's kind of like a double-sided sort of situation. I mean, we would be more advanced, but at the same time, if you weren't limited at all, I think this happened in a movie actually, but basically someone could just kidnap you and do experiments.
That's true. You wouldn't
Yeah.
feel safe.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
What's the point of being more advanced if you don't feel safe in your own home?
And then it's like a rat race to be more advanced than the person trying to kidnap you.
That's true.
So you've got to kidnap them first with better technology.
But what really is the best
maybe
part
you could
about
take
it?
the moral high ground. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Evan.
no, don't worry about it. The technology is going to be better though, just because that race, constant race.
Yeah.
You have to be better, that much better.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Thanks for driving that.
Yeah, you really stole that one.
So are you saying society's better when we have an enemy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, that's
I
a
mean,
good
look
question.
At the,
I
It's
mean-
human nature.
like the space race.
Yeah,
true,
the
yeah.
space race.
Ever since I beat all my enemies, I don't do anything.
I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah.
He
I
doesn't.
think
No.
it's, I think it's more important to have the idea of an enemy than it is to have an actual enemy. That's why towns have like rivals.
Yeah.
You-
Make
It
up
really
an
lets you
enemy.
band together.
Like 1984 kind of enemies.
Yeah. Back to psychological, stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because my biggest enemy is myself.
Yeah. That's how you stay on your toes. All right, so I guess that's a great jumping off point here. I must ask, what sort of case would you say would justify something that you find morally gray? I guess, how bad of an enemy do you need for you to subvert your own conscience and just be like, all right, we're doing this anyway because it's for the greater good?
It's a big question.
Probably life and death.
Yeah, I would
But
agree.
like your immediate death or like the death of your children in 30 years?
Either or.
Maybe the greater good, like performing experiments on, let's say, patients within a psych ward that could ultimately lead to the cure for the emperor of all maladies, cancer. I don't know if I would take part in that
Yeah.
or not.
It's very hard to really say. Because, I mean, I guess it depends, do the subjects themselves agree to it? Because if they were the ones who were consenting to it, then the morality is really not there, correct?
Yeah, well, that changes everything.
Yeah. So I guess it would truly depend on whether or not the people are consenting.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're not consenting, but it's for the greater good, I think some people would argue that it's right, but I don't know, because individual rights are important too.
Yeah, it's really hard to just supersede their will like that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be, the guy in the seat being experimented on.
No.
It's not all about you.
Well, I wouldn't want to
It's
be
not all
either.
about you.
What if your mom asked
didn't
you
say
to,
it was.
Robbie?
Sorry, Keith?
What if your mom asked you to be the guy in the seat? Would you say no
what
to
if
her?
I put my mom in the seat?
No, don't. You can't put your mom in the seat.
What kind
yet.
of seat is it?
We'll go over that one next.
Are we talking armchair?
It's an
What kind of
office
dentist
chair.
Okay.
It does not spin.
It doesn't.
It's the
Oh,
worst
what?
office chair. ever.
No.
Nobody really knows what they do in that situation.
Okay, quick unrelated side question. Okay, everyone here, what's your record for most spins?
In a desk chair?
Yeah.
I can do like 2 before it yanks out the the headphone cable.
Oh, yeah. You're jacked in constantly.
Yeah, I'm jacked in right now. Roy?
Well, I mean, I'll answer that question, but first, we have to go to our first
We got a break?
PSA break.
Yeah.
I'm Roy Michaels. You're listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM WMEB, Orono, Maine. It was 11:22. We'll be back in about 48 seconds.
Hi, I'm Murph. Ride along with me on the Blues Bus every Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. right here on WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. Quality blues since 1991. Hello and welcome back. I'm Roy Michaels. It is 11:25 and you're listening to the Mystery Hour, the first, only, and number one
late night paranormal talk show right here on 91.9 FM, WMEB, Orono, Maine. Break was about 30 seconds longer than expected. I apologize. We had to do some musical chairs, but so far in this episode, Keith has been leading us into the zany but extremely horrific world of human experimentation. I just kind of want to keep the conversation going by throwing the question at Rob here. Rob, I understand while you were a camp counselor, you dabbled in a few human experiments.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I don't know how much I can share over the radio.
Oh.
You know,
Well,
the results are they're unpublished.
Can you share a little bit?
Do you think someone's going to steal your results?
the results are unpublished?
Yeah, you never want to spill the beans on unpublished results.
Let that be a lesson to all you grad students out there.
Spill a couple beans.
I'll give you one.
Let's
bean.
hear it.
I'll give you one bean. I would use the kids' psychological network to accomplish small misdeeds.
Oh.
Such as what?
No, it's one bean too many.
2 beans.
So, wait. Rob. Come on. Why keep the results a secret? Come on.
Come on.
Well, I forgot my notes.
Come on.
And my notes are my memory.
Give us one more bean.
Well, I mean, the guys behind the monster experiment, are you familiar with the monster experiment? These two scientists, they took a group of 22 orphaned children and they split them into two groups. And the first group, they would complement their speech and its fluency and its nuances. And in the second group, they would berate the kids for every little mistake they made in their speech. And eventually those kids developed stutters and speech impediments that lasted throughout their life. And the reason it's called the monster experiment is that the two guys that conducted it were about to publish the results. But it was in 1939 when the experiment began. If you know anything about world history at that time, they were hearing about what the Nazis were up to and felt that what they did was a lot like something that would be done under a regime that could operate without impunity. And they decided to keep the experiment under wraps and dubbed it the monster experiment because it's truly horrific. So are you keeping that a secret because of Nazis?
What a great tie-in.
Real quick, can you just give us a rundown of what you call the psychological network?
Sure. Well, it all starts with the Squatigans. The Squatigans is a make-believe... All right, hold on. Can we just address this in the studio right now? Because I've got people making faces from across
who was making
the
face?
debate table.
Who was making faces?
Nobody's debating here.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like you didn't prepare.
Hey, let's I put you in the hot seat. I apologize for that.
Is this an experiment to see what happens when you put someone that's not prepared in the hot seat?
Don't blow it.
That wasn't fair, Roy.
But yeah, so I was going to use this experiment on Rob to sort of segue into our next piece. Fan of the show, John McCullough, is also a camp counselor, and he has provided us with several audio recordings that he took during his time in the field. And I haven't really listened to them yet. Have you, Connor?
I have. I'm not going to reveal the plot at all, but they're quite creepy.
The plot?
The plot.
I thought it was just updates from John.
Well, there's a plot. There's an ongoing plot.
Yeah. This is exciting.
Something bad is happening there.
So before we get into the first piece, I just want to say that it's now 11:30. I'm Roy Michaels. You are listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM, WMB Orono, Maine. And welcome to the Mystery Half Hour. But yeah, Connor, let's hear the clip.
Hey there, you guys, and you Mystery Hour fans out there. It's John McCullough here. I haven't been on the show in a little bit, but I've been working at a summer camp. And we just got done staff training. It was tons of fun. It's sad I can't be on the show anymore, so I figured I would send in little voice recordings, and hopefully you guys would enjoy it. Everything's been going pretty good over here. There's a lot of new faces here. We just started our first session, and everything seems pretty cool. The only thing that like kind of feels off a little bit is I'll be talking with all the people, and it'll be perfectly fine. Everything will seem perfectly great and normal, and then I'll like turn around. I'll be walking away to go to whatever class I have to teach, and I can still hear all like the background noise and all that stuff, and like everything seems normal, but I just kind of feel like everyone's just kind of watching me, like it all seems like an act, I guess. But then I'll turn around and everything just seems normal. So nothing really too weird, I guess. But yeah, it's been tons of fun. Hopefully I'll be back on the show soon, and I'll keep sending some voice recordings to you guys. All right, see ya. Hey, Mystery Hour crew, it's John again. I've completed another couple weeks here at camp. It's been pretty fun. We've done like a lot of camping trips. We've played, just like all the kids have been like really cool. Yeah, everything's been super fun here. The only like weird experience that I've had so far is I went to, we have like a costume shed like out in the woods a little bit. So I went there to look for some props for like a talent show or whatever. And as I was on my way there, like I had this weird feeling I was being watched. So I went to the costume shed to like open the door, but it was locked. So I turned around, head back to like ask one of the directors if they had a key. And right there, I just saw like 3 campers just like looking at me. And it was really, it was pretty unsettling to say the least. But I was like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And even more creepy, they just didn't say anything. They were just very silent. And then like, I was like, all right, well, you guys need to head back to your cabin to get ready for the talent show. And they didn't move. So I was like, all right, well, where's your counselor? And I looked around for him. And when I looked back, like they were just like walking away. It was super, super unsettling, but I just like let it ride, I guess. I was like, well, that was weird. I guess they just wanted to get a little rise out of me. But yeah, other than that, like everything's been pretty fun here. Yeah, I hope everything's going well over there at the Mystery Hour on air, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. Hey there, you guys. Hope everything's going well over there at the Mystery Hour. Things over here at camp are like going super well. I just got done with a camping trip. I got to get out of camp for a little while and just go camping with a bunch of the kids here, and it was so much fun. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulder the second we left, and it was a blast. But yeah, now I'm back at camp, and I'm looking forward to getting back into class with the kids, like teaching new skills and all that stuff. I think it's gonna be like really fun. And, hey, you guys, what are you doing out here? You guys can't be out here right now. You guys are supposed to be down at the campfire. Hey, are you guys like even listening? Listen, hey, you guys can't just...
Oh man, is John all right?
I don't know. Those are the 3 clips we got for him, and then we haven't heard from him in like a month.
How did we even get the clips? Is it kind of like a Blair Witch Project type scenario?
Well, he told me that something weird was going on, so he sent him to me periodically.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe it came to a pretty bad conclusion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe someone is replacing the campers.
Skinwalkers?
Could be skinwalkers. Could be Wendigos.
Yeah.
That was a strange
aliens.
ending. What was that startup noise?
Oh,
yeah, see, that made me think that they might be like a form of artificial intelligence.
We should probably...
And what we heard at the end was the kids, they were just standing there in a very strange position because they are robots and they were offline. And when John approached them, they kind of just straightened right up, and that's when you heard the Windows booting up sound that played over air just now from your laptop. And it was just them coming online, and then their eyeballs probably lit up.
Now, I like that theory. I don't think it's the Windows booting up sound, though, because I remember we received that message from that spaceman from the future, and that sound was in that too. And I wonder if maybe in some way these two events are connected.
Like the two files
Yeah.
are just maybe it belong in the same place.
Perhaps. I mean, he was in an extra dimension of some kind, beyond time, beyond space, and maybe it's kind of like leaked into our world.
Maybe it's just still John, but from a multiverse.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith.
So why do we think something even happened? Wasn't John just running? Isn't that what he does?
Well, did they find like bloody gym shorts and Tevas, maybe a frisbee or a hacky sack, anything that explicitly spells out John?
Well, we didn't find anything, and the weird thing is I haven't heard from his parents, his friends, besides you guys, because you guys haven't heard anything. I haven't heard from anyone. No one knows where he is. No one even mentions his disappearance except for us.
Where's John?
He could still be running to this day.
That's true. He does like to run.
Yeah, have you seen his calves?
Very nice calves, yeah.
Well-rounded.
Best of the group.
Well-rounded.
If you know where John is, please call 581-2333. That is 581-2333. Bring John home. Hashtag it.
Like, you're not checking his old house, right?
Hmm?
John moved?
Well, I've checked his old
John-
house. I live right next door.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Are you checking the same house?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I've gone to his Bangor house.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, where in Bangor does he live?
In Bangor.
Like, what's his address?
I don't know what the address is, but I know how to get there.
Yeah, we have a no address on air policy, actually.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
If you remember the vampire episode, when we issued the come try to get into my house, you dirty vampire, without my invitation, that was a lot of trouble. I had a lot of vampires at my doorstep.
How many?
1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 4 vampires.
That's 4 too many.
That's 4 too many.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Listen to
don't
me,
let
you
them in.
vampire scum.
How'd you get rid of them?
I called the police.
Oh,
Yeah.
do they have a vampire squad?
Yeah, this guy, they rolled up with a SWAT van. On top, there was this massive Gatling gun filled with, those like wooden stakes people put in at the perimeters of like high school football fields to like tether like a ribbon across.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was those like javelins just launching out. Pretty terrible.
Oh, speaking of vampires, I'd like to give you a little update. We are working on getting the blood tax on this year's ballot in November, alongside other questions.
Whoa. We made a difference.
We made a difference.
How much blood?
Guys, okay.
Just enough for the vampires. So vampires, look out. Justice is coming.
I think now, I think I have to speak up. I just said that the police destroyed vampires on my doorstep with a Gatlin stake launcher mounted to the top of an SUV, an armored SUV. And that was an act of fiction. And I want to get that out now. So when the blood tax campaign comes up, I don't want that to sort of be the email scandal of this campaign. I don't want to derail.
I can't believe you. You're soiling the trust that our listeners have for us. They listen for truth, and you've soiled it.
Yeah, sometimes you really let us down.
When you try your best and you don't succeed.
So what happened to the vampires? Did they not get staked?
They're good people.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for them.
Is that why you berate them as you do?
You don't get it.
We really should have cut to break a second ago with that song.
We need to be prepared for all circumstances.
I usually have a sad piano song on the go here, and I didn't have it. So I'm glad that I've been given this beautiful voice box.
Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes.
Project QKHILLTOP.
What's that?
Don't talk about that.
Did you just activate some brainwash people out there? Like, is that the code you send through the radio waves to like turn the everyday person into Soviet ninja spies?
Yes, Robbie, acquiring targets.
Defeat Roy Michaels.
Well,
Hey, you know what?
What?
that was
What you are
flabbergasting.
attempting to convey is an entire
It is 11:40. You are listening to the Mystery Hour right here on 91.9 FM WMEB Orono, Maine. I'm Roy Michaels, and we'll be right back.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
Welcome back to the Mystery Hour. It's 11:41. I'm Roy Michaels, and you are listening to WMEB 91.9 FM, Orono, Maine. Shout out to Smokey Bear. Tonight on the episode, we're delving into the dark and disturbing world of human experimentation. I believe Keith here has a fresh new anecdote to kick off the
Those are some
last
spicy
portion.
hand gestures right there. I'm feeling it.
last portion of the Mystery Hour.
Yeah. May I begin? Do I go now?
Proceed.
All right. Have you guys heard of a certain something called MK Ultra?
Yeah, that's
Watch the movie today.
that's a retro revival synth guy on SoundCloud.
Yeah. You thinking about that foot dive?
Perhaps.
Maybe. All right. Well,
I'm just trying to keep it fresh.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
a
trying to
lot of
keep
people
things
just
rolling.
came to the area.
I understand completely.
Your boy Roy Michaels here, trying to keep the show lit for all the underclassmen that showed up. But yeah, please proceed.
fellow kids, right? Us college student. Anyway, so how does it feel when the morally gray is accomplished by the CIA? You know, how do you feel about that?
Sick rhyme.
Unintentional rhyme. I can assure you that.
What are you, a paranormal journalist, or are you Dr. Seuss? What's going on?
I've got the hat. So
He doesn't have a hat.
No, I have no hat. I'm lying to you again. Anyway, it's kind of concerning because occasionally the culprit behind a morally gray medical development is not the thirst for progress as much as it is a thirst for power. In the early 1950s, the CIA grouped many of its mind control and interrogation programs into one massive program and named it MK Ultra. The founding of the supergroup is said to be by request of the former CIA director Alan Dulles, who complained that the CIA lacked enough human guinea pigs to try these extraordinary techniques. Now, you may be confused. You know, the name isn't very descriptive. It doesn't actually tell you anything other than Mortal Kombat. So you must wonder: is this a video game, or is this like an actual a terror?
Is it for Sega? Is it for Super
Yeah,
Nintendo?
what
Can I get it on
console?
my PS1?
Exactly. So I'll describe it for you. The most simple description of MK Ultra's goals is summarized by Richard Helms. When he was questioned, he said, "We intend to investigate the development of a chemical material which causes a reversible, non-toxic, aberrant mental state, the specific nature of which can be reasonably well predicted for each individual. The material could potentially aid in discrediting individuals, eliciting information, and implanting suggestions in other forms of mental control." Now, it's pretty concerning, right?
Did he ply his patients with LSD?
We'll get there, Roy.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. So, following MK Ultra, we have a Robbie just barely mentioned it before someone pulled him out of the room. We get to QK Hilltop. Sorry, this is a 1954 project, and it was also grouped into MK Ultra. It was created in an attempt to understand and study the Chinese brainwashing techniques, aiming to develop an effective form of interrogation. So we saw what they were doing, and we thought, how do we protect ourselves from it? We probably get a little stronger by doing it ourselves. And so we did. We hired Dr. Harold Wolf of the Cornell University, and he just got to work. He really just collected any information he possibly could about threats, coercion, imprisonment, deprivation, humiliation, torture, brainwashing, hypnosis, and any combination of these with or without a chemical agent. So I guess this leads me to believe, do you think that we only did this to combat China? Do you think that we're defending ourselves by hiding the morally gray and saying it's fine because if we don't do it, China will?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we saw our opening to develop, mind control technology and took it.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes it, less. I don't think that makes it moral, actually. I think it's still just as.
You think it's just like a defense mechanism?
Yeah.
Okay. So that leads me to believe we got your perfect tie-in here. As things progress, they needed guinea pigs. And, how do you get an inconspicuous... Oh, sorry.
I just want to know how the board meeting went over for that. Like,
yeah.
Hey, guys, how are we going to grow, our operation today? Well, I think that we could really benefit from more human guinea pigs here at the compound.
Yeah, and they went on record saying that. It wasn't like a secret thing. They just said it in front of a board meeting.
So this is something that, usually when we deal with the topics on the show, we use the word probably.
Yeah.
Or might have, or
this
allegedly.
is in quotations.
So this is like written in stone as a Wikipedia page.
It was on Wikipedia.
They did it.
Yeah. Don't source that. Find your own.
Did the CIA invent LSD, or did they just use it?
I'm not actually certain.
I actually don't know that.
Yeah. I don't know the legality of discussing such either, but we can discuss how they went about utilizing it.
Okay.
And so, of MKUltra's many branches, there is a uniquely named Operation Midnight Climax. It is a very interesting program, I'll tell you that much. It is perhaps the most obviously ludicrous in action. It's operated from a web of CIA safe houses in San Francisco and New York. And the CIA attempted to study the effects of LSD on unconsenting individuals. And so you have to wonder, how are they going to get to people? How do they actually get these people, and how do they drug them without it being, again, morally reprehensible?
They throw a pizza party.
That would be... Why didn't they hire you? I think this would probably be better, but I'll just finish
Maybe
reading this
they
anyway.
did.
Oh, whoa. I think this predates you by a little bit, but so you gotta wonder, how do they do it? Ladies of the Night. I'll tell you what. They
Now, is that a guild of assassins?
No, it is not. They're romantic street workers, if you will.
Oh, musicians. They play violin.
They play something, not an instrument.
Scrabble?
Oh,
not a board game.
I'm not sure if I follow, but please
Intercourse
continue.
is what I'm implying here. All right.
Okay.
So
just say it.
Yeah. Well, I thought you would understand. Basically, they were employed by the CIA, these ladies, and they were instructed to lure their frisky clients back to the CIA safe houses, where they were inconspicuously assaulted with a cocktail of drugs, where they were then placed behind a one-way glass pane, where they were basically instructed to do tasks, and they were just observed in their mind-altered state. And it's actually, this is where we developed, apparently, I wasn't around, but Operation Midnight Climax goes down in the books as one of the operations that deeply developed the CIA's ability to partake in sexual blackmail, surveillance technology, and the use of mind-altering chemicals in national operations.
So it was really a groundbreaking event.
Yeah.
For an intelligence agency.
They actually made a big breakthrough.
I believe Robbie has a comment.
So Keith, is this where the term bad trip originated?
I don't know. The Wikipedia article did not say that.
It sounds a lot like Shanghai when workers would go down, and I think it was New Orleans, but don't quote me on that. And they would go to the tavern, and they'd have a few rounds and maybe meet up with one of these ladies of the night you described, and they would be lured into a room and dropped down through a trap door.
Whoa. And
they'd be knocked unconscious, right? And they would be put on a ship and sailed to Shanghai and forced into labor.
Wow. Is that where the verb comes from?
Yeah, that's why you call it
Wow.
Shanghai. Yeah,
I guess I didn't know that.
and you could say that the CIA did Shanghai the victims of Operation
Midnight Climax.
Midnight Climax.
The midnight is the important part because that's where we used to be. And that's where we'll be soon. So I guess I've got some questions about this if you guys want to do that.
Yeah,
All right, I guess we sort of touched on this with the first one in like defending our country. But do you, like, first of all, do you think the operations of MK Ultra were warranted to progress our nation's ability to combat our international opponents?
No.
I mean, there could be an entire, psychic war being, raged. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's in your head.
It's in my head.
Yep. Out of the box? Out of your head?
Out of there's a secret psychic war,
Yeah.
and that's why they're putting fluoride in their water.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like a dental hygiene thing.
yeah. I tried to make it funny and I ruined it.
It's
Please
okay.
continue.
I just don't have a lot here, really.
Woo.
All right, Connor, what do you think? You said you don't think it's warranted?
No, I don't think you can infringe on people's individual rights like that for any reason.
Why?
Excuse me.
It's built into the Constitution.
Okay. So,
It was illegal.
yeah, I don't actually know the legality of the CIA. Can't they just do anything, really?
I think they get away with it,
Yeah.
but not legally.
Like, what are they going to do? Arrest themselves?
Yeah.
So, okay, next question. How would you feel? Okay, so the professor of who ran QK Hilltop, Dr. Harold Wolf. How would you feel in learning that one of your professors was heading this? Like you go to your first day of class and you're like, wow, he's a great guy. And then you get home and you look him up. And on, My Teacher Reviews or whatever the websites are, it's like, yeah, this guy is an expert in Chinese torture.
Yeah,
And-
this dude brainwashed me.
Yeah. Would it impact how much you can learn from him? Or would you take him more seriously?
Maybe I would trust him because he could learn me subconsciously.
Like he'll know how to cater to your needs?
I'm saying he will mind control me into passing his course.
It's a good deal. He'd probably have pretty high marks.
I wouldn't try and play a man like that.
Yeah, me neither.
Would you turn in something late and lie to him?
Oh, absolutely not. I would be the best student.
Yeah, I would frighten me into being studious.
I probably would drop the course.
Yeah, realistically.
I wouldn't drop it. I'd take
Evan,
it.
all
I
right.
would take it. I think I'd have a mix of like increased respect and disgust, but I think I would still take it. And I still might lie to him. I might say like, "Oh, my Word document was corrupted. Sorry."
Yeah.
My dog ate my homework.
Yeah, essentially,
exactly.
yeah.
Would you lie to him via voice or text? If you had to choose
text.
one. Only text?
I don't do anything serious over voice except for the Mystery Hour because
Yeah.
I'm 100% dedicated to the show.
Yeah, I don't speak throughout the week. I want to keep my voice coils warm and ready to rip.
That's why your voice sounds so alert and awake every episode.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
glowing vocally. It's amazing. It's like you just had a child. You just brought a
Well, let me
beautiful
tell
life
you-
into the world with your voice
I've heard you cry and laugh on this show.
at the same time.
I never cried on this show.
This whole show is like an experimentation upon you.
I remember I made fun of you once. I made fun of your. I said you had a face for radio, and you bawled your eyes out.
It was a compliment.
Come on, guys.
You also banged your knee on the
Let's
sound
get back
desk.
to the.
Yeah?
You guys.
We done bullying Roy?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
saw him stub his toe on the side of the desk. He's like, "Oh, I'm done with this show. I'm
Cried
not
like
doing
a
it
baby.
anymore."
Guys, I really want to just keep going.
All right, let's continue then. So, the saying, "The ends justify the means."
Yeah.
It's
Are
often
you gonna
used.
cry again, baby?
Yeah, it's looking like it.
Ends justify the means.
The ends.
We're just seeing how far we can push you.
Yeah. All right. So I guess. Okay, if the ends justify the means, is there anything that you would feel here justifies the use of MK Ultra? Like, would an international terror threat change Connor's mind? If it was you can go to war, or you can allow the CIA to experiment on you randomly if you decide to pick up a lady of the night, which one would you go with?
Honestly, the experiment route doesn't seem like such a bad night on the town. I mean, you get all your party favors paid for.
That's
you get a
true.
crazy story to tell all your buddies.
Oh yeah.
and perhaps you get psychic powers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So do you
Can I
think?
add an answer to that?
No, good call. The psychic powers is something I hadn't actually thought of. Do you think that they might develop this from like the drug usage?
Wait, have I been just assuming that psychic powers were involved?
Perhaps, yeah.
I watched a lot of Stranger Things, and let me tell you, psychic powers.
They exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Do you know
a-
how?
No.
Probably drugs.
Perhaps.
I think that's basically all I've got here. Like I guess I could probably find some more questions, but we still got like 5 minutes.
I kind of want to grill Evan with a question here.
Yeah.
Let's get him.
So when we were talking about the professor, and if you found out that your professor participated in a psychological torture program, you said you wouldn't drop the class. I'm just curious as to why you would continue.
Because obviously the guy's gonna know his stuff, right? Like if he got this far, then he's gonna know his subject matter really, really well. He's gonna be a great professor. He's gonna be fully prepared every class. You know, he's got that full mind control efficiency going on.
Yeah,
so
he's got it. He's got everything down.
yeah, exactly.
I've actually got a question for you too.
Yeah.
When you find out, do you move? Well, because you strike me as a person that sits in the middle of the class, like not in the back, not in the front. Is that?
Yeah, no, you're quite right.
Yeah, I know. Do you move up if you find out, or do you move back, or do you stay in the same spot?
Oh, you definitely want to stay in the same spot. If I can actually.
Really, because I would move closer to see if he has that, 1,000-yard gaze. The eyes that say, I've seen some stuff.
Well, if
bet
it's
he
a
has.
1,000-yard gaze, you can just stay in your same spot.
Yeah,
I
you can
think.
stay in the back.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to make any moves.
Good
from
point.
Up on, you know.
True. Yeah, you,
you
don't
don't
want to trip him up.
He is a mentalist.
He's gonna know. He's gonna be like, oh, this kid, he's moving to the back. He must know.
He doesn't want to. You don't want him to walk on you.
So
you can see at 1,000 yards.
That'll set him off immediately.
would you try to blackmail him to get a better, mark in the class? Let's say you submit like a term paper and at the last line just says, I know. Would you? Do you think that's a good plan, or would that backfire?
I
feel like that's
super
day
risky.
one.
Like he's clearly smarter than me. I don't know.
Like
I don't think I could handle
Obviously
it.
smarter than you, Evan.
What he's doing has no legal repercussion.
He just has
Exactly.
a piece of paper, man. You are your own guy. You're just humans.
It's true.
No,
but
he's
what-
probably smarter than
what
you.
is
Though.
that?
I'm just. I'm
Stop
sorry.
I mean, just so everyone knows, Evan is a very smart guy,
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
but he's not a secret, government experiment guy.
No.
But maybe he might be one day.
Who knows?
Yeah, but till then you're a few steps short.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
I can't go head to head with this guy, especially on blackmail. Like who can?
So do you think it's a mark of honor that he's been picked up by the CIA then? Like, do you think he's just so knowledgeable that they found the best person and it was him?
Yeah, guaranteed.
Well, I mean, Oppenheimer was picked up by the government, and Oppenheimer is a very respectable man.
Yeah. Was he?
Eh.
Can you say that?
I think so.
What do you respect
Yeah.
about
Like a
him?
good guy, mostly.
Well, he made the nuke.
Yeah, he did. Afterward though, he went around and talked about how it was a bad idea. But
I don't know if that
Anyone can do
changes
that
it.
afterwards.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't think. Could he have quit?
Oh no, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a kind of. Do you think it would be considered an act of treason to
think so.
back out of a government-sponsored program like that?
Yeah, especially because he was an expat from Germany too. So
Ooh, yeah. So they had the leverage on him.
exactly, they're like, oh, you wanna not be a Nazi? Gonna have to do this.
What are you going to do? Go home? He wasn't going home.
Yeah, then they push him. He
You
falls
push
over
him.
how nerd he is.
Like a nuke.
Dude, he could beat us up.
Could someone please impersonate the "I am become death" quote?
No.
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
That is a
that what it is?
fantastic way to end this episode. It's now 11:59, which means this epoch of mystery has come to a close. I'd like to issue out a few thank yous at the moment. As always, we would like to thank Jimmy Ozog for composing several original tracks for use here on the Mystery Hour. We would like to thank the wonderful people behind the scenes at WMEB for making this show possible and many others, and helping us grow along the way. And of course, we'd like to thank you, the listener, for staying up late with your radio. I'm Roy Michaels. Remember to always get your pets spayed and neutered. Never ever throw away anything covered in your DNA. And next time you're walking around and you see an ad for an experiment, give it some thought. But anyway, I'm Roy Michaels. You just listened to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM WMEB, Orono, Maine. It is now midnight. We'll see you next week.